All right, guys. Hello again. Welcome back. Here we are. We're inside SolidWorks, and we have begun this build. So, if you're like me, you've got the image inside SolidWorks. You've laid down a nice little center line for reference to make sure the image is the right size, and then you've started using your calipers to measure the piece. So I've got 39.2 from top to bottom on this piece, and then when I do a measurement of the width, I get about 16 millimeters. Hopefully your measurements are landing in that sort of neighborhood, but as I said several times, you're able to make decisions on your own, so feel free to do that. All right, so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to just start up a new sketch on the top plane. All right, and you know what I'm going to do is I'm just going to quickly draw maybe a nice little box. Look at that, how SolidWorks is so nice to line me right up at the top of that line. And I'm going to just draw a rectangle. This is the center rectangle, and I'm not going to draw it really to size or anything like that. I'm just going to loosely lay it down and kind of just hover it over my model here and just drag it out till it's sort of right in that neighborhood. I'm going to make sure at least to get this bottom point in line with the origin, and that's about like that. Okay, I'm going to then grab some smart dimensions, and let's just see here. Alright, so here's this. We'll end at that. 39.2 is what I like. And then for this top image here, I'm going to say 16 millimeters. Okay. Alright. So that is going to be about what I want this to be. So let me just right click and drop my dimension tool. Let me just also make sure that I'm lined up with the origin here. So there's my origin and my center line's coming right off of it. But if I zoom in on my center point of this rectangle, I realize it's not really there. So I'm going to click on that center point, hold down Control, click on the origin, and I'm going to put a vertical relation between the center point of the rectangle and the origin. And that's just going to line the two up. And you can see that my sketch here is off from the image a little bit, and that's okay, because I am not attached too much to this reference image. Again, it's just a very loose representation of what I'm trying to build. I took the photo with my phone. I was half asleep when I did it. I was probably standing at an angle. You know, all these things are leading to an inaccurate image, and what we're trying to do is build an accurate model. So we'll let SolidWorks do the accuracy for us and let that image just kind of keep us on track. Okay? Okay, so I'm going to approve that, and let's just take a look in 3D at what we've got here. As you do go into 3D, you may notice that the rotation and orientation of your model is acting a little bit funny, and that's because of the image that you've put in. The program sort of sets the orientation based on the size of the image that you imported in. So things are just going to feel a little bit funny as you're trying to kind of move around. You can see here that mine's kind of kicking all over the place. Do your best to get used to it. And this is again where being able to use keyboard commands in combination with mouse gestures to navigate your space is really going to come into handy. So if you do not have your left hand on the keyboard, get it over there and get used to using the shift and the middle mouse key to zoom in and out, and control middle mouse button to move around in your world, and that'll just keep you kind of in track. Okay. Okay, so it's back to the calipers, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take a very loose measurement of the thickness of this plate here. And so I'm just going to take a measurement of one side, which says 1.12 millimeters, and then I'll do the other side, 1.17. So between those two, maybe I'll kind of try to pick a middle ground to live on. So I'll go up here to features. I'm going to go extruded boss base, and I'm going to do an extrusion of, let's say, 1.15. I'm not sure. Maybe 1.13. Okay. All right. So we'll call that like that. And that's going to be the very first piece. This is what they call blocking it out, right? We're building a block, right? We're getting the basic dimensions down. All right, so that's going to be that, and I'm holding the piece in my hand and I'm just spinning it around. I'm just looking at it from all different angles, trying to kind of see what I can get. It's looking good. All right. All right, now I'll just maybe hit the space bar and I'll look at this thing from the top view, try to get a sense of where I'm at. I'm sure you guys can hear the construction going on in the background here. I've got just a team of people outside driving up and down the street in their construction vehicles. It's quite wild. One thing you can notice here is that the shading on my part is hiding the image, so I can click and change this to wireframe mode. See a little bit more of what I'm doing. So I'm noticing I've got these chamfered edges. They look to be about 45 degrees. So maybe I'll get on top of that and I'll just slice the edges off of my model. And this would be a good opportunity for me to do my first mirror command. So I think what I'll do is get the image out of the way, and I will maybe just on my top plane start up a sketch and just kind of draw a quick line. I'm just going to build a little triangle right over this edge, and I'm going to do an extruded cut and slice that edge right off. Okay, so features, extruded cut. SolidWorks is so awesome, and it always puts your extruded cuts in the wrong direction. There we go. And I'm just going to slice that edge right off, just like that. Fantastic. And then what I can do here, because I'm building off of my origin, I have the right plane, which is right in the middle of my model. So I can go here to the mirror command. Let me actually just right click here and go hide. That's going to hide my model, or hide the image. All right, and then I'm going to go mirror. I'm going to set the mirror plane to the right plane, right? And then the feature that I'm going to mirror, in this case, is going to be the cut extrude right there. Cut extrude, and you can see it mirrors it right over. Okay, and that just kind of gets us right off to the starts. There we go. Okay, so I'm going to save my work at this point so that I have a file to work with. So let's see, what have I got here? USB 2017. I'm going to make a new folder for part files. I'm going to go into that part file and I'm going to save this as slider R1. There we go. All right. So working away, and maybe it's time to take another little look at my top view here. So I can right click on this and go show, and then I can go wireframe, take a look maybe from the top view. Excuse me. There we go. All right, so it looks like we've got maybe this thing to build next. All right, so we can do that. And also, if you look at this, there's kind of a chamfered edge on the side here. So I'm going to also build that into my model. Probably what I'll do is I'll just build a block right off the top, and then I'll go from the front view and I'll chop the edges off from this side. Okay, so I'm going to go here, top plane, and I'm going to create a sketch, and I'm just going to, again, I'm blocking it out here, guys, so I'm just going to very quickly kind of, you know what I'm using? I'm using the center point rectangle, and I do not want to do that one. I want to change this to corner rectangle, and then I'm going to very carefully kind of just lay this in. Okay. And take note of what's going on here. The corner rectangle is different than the center rectangle because it does not contain the construction lines in the center. It does not have a center point. So that can make it hard to center on the rest of my model. So I'm actually going to add a center line to it manually. Okay, so I go up here, grab my center line, and then I'll just hover over the line work here and just double check that I am adding this right on the center line. And perfect, just like that. Okay, so now I know that this is right in the center of my model. Okay, I can also set up smart dimensions here from the edge of this. Excuse me. It's giving me from the center line over. It's not what I want. So I want from this edge to SolidWorks is just desperate to give me a measurement that I don't want. So what I'm really trying to do is go from here to here. Good, just like that. There we go. And then I'm going to, on my model, I'm going to very carefully take my calipers and try to measure how far away is that edge from the edge of the bottom plate. And it is small. It is like 0.5 millimeter. Okay. So I'm going to set it to 0.5. All right. There we go. And I'll do that for the other side as well. From this edge to this edge, 0.5. Perfect. Okay. Just double checking there. Perfect. Like that. All right. Good. And then what I'll do is I'll do a nice little extrusion. Okay, and this is a good time to talk about the Extruded Boss Base tool and about how we can use it to our advantage. So I got some tricky stuff going on here. I've got my extrusion that's kind of coming up from the top plane. It's going upward. All right, and then I've got the sketch on the top plane, and I'm going to need to set a measurement from the top surface here up. All right, now I'm using my digital calipers to tell myself how big that piece actually sticks up off of the top surface, and I'm just going to measure that real quick. Hold on. All right, 3.8 millimeters is about what I get. So I'm going to do an extruded boss base, okay, using this sketch right here, and you can see it kind of sticking up. But I'm going to tell this boss extrude to start from a surface, okay? So in the from setting here, you set it to surface, okay? And then you click on this top surface, and that has this boss extrude starting from the top surface and going upwards. And then it's simple as just setting it to 3.8. All right. Okay, hold on. Let me hit the F key because I've lost my model. And this is our second block that we're building here, okay? Very precisely built. And excuse me while I just kind of analyze my model a little bit. All right, very good. Okay, and then what I want to do is I actually want to go, again, I need to hide my top view because it's just kind of getting in my way. There she goes. All right. And now I need to kind of slice off these edges. I'm noticing a little bit of a chamfered edge here. So I'm just going to look at the planes I have available to me. Top plane, front plane. There's the front plane. So if I draw on the front plane, I can slice the edges off of here just the way I need to. So I'm going to right click on this front plane, start up a new sketch. I'm going to look normal too, and then I'm going to just basically kind of eyeball this myself. And notice what I'm doing here. I'm going to do a cut extrude and just slice off the edge of this thing. I'm just making special note to make a closed contour, okay, because that's really what SolidWorks likes. And I'm going to do an extruded cut, all right, and I'll just smash this right through the model like that and just take that edge right off, boom, just like that. And then I'm going to go over here and just analyze my planes until I find the plane that's in the middle of my model, and then I'll do a quick mirror, and I'll set the mirror plane to the right plane there. Features to mirror will be this face. That's going to mirror that right across like that. All right, and now I'm good to go. All right, very good. All right, maybe in the last minute of this design, I'll put the little arrow on top, and then we'll shut this video down there. Okay, so I'm going to actually do this arrow in a very specific way. I'm going to right click on this top surface and make a sketch on the surface of the model itself. If this blows your mind, follow along. All right, you can create sketches on faces or surfaces. They don't need to be on planes all the time. So let's just fire that off and take a look at how it goes. All right, so I'm starting up a sketch. I need to show my image again. and I'm just going to draw this triangle. So I'm going to use a line tool. All right, and I'm gonna eyeball this. Click, and again, we always just block it out. So I'll draw half of it. I'll put a center line. Okay, change that to construction geometry. I'm going to go mirror entities. I'm going to mirror these two sketches. I'm going to mirror about this center line. Okay, and I'm going to use this tool up here. This is the sketch fillet tool. All right, and I'm going to be careful to set the fillet size to something appropriate, like 2. I always put it on 2. And then I'll click this line, and I'll click this line, and you can see that a 2 millimeter fillet is way too big. So, all right, let me change this to 0.25. All right, that seems a little bit better. So this, all right, this fillet's too big. SolidWorks is getting angry with me. How about 0.125? Okay. All right, how about 0.5? There it is. A segment being filleted has a midpoint or equal length or equidistant relation. The equidistant relation will be deleted and the geometry might move. Oh my God. I don't know what that means. I'm just going to say yes because I'm tired of waiting. All right, and I'm also going to do that size, and I'm just going to ignore all of this drama from SolidWorks. Okay, just like that. Very good. And then I'm going to block in the center as well. And I'll mirror this also. This line, mirror about this line. And I will do a little tiny fillet between these lines as well. And it's going to keep dinging at me, and I'm just not going to get angry about that. Even though maybe you can tell from my voice I'd like to. Okay, good. That's that, and we're going to approve that. And there's our sketch. Okay, it's sitting right there. It's right on the surface of our model. It's not even built on a plane. And now we're just going to do a nice little extruded boss base. Okay, it's going to jump really high up. Let's take a measurement of the height of that triangle. And the way I'm measuring height, guys, is with a little pin on the back of the calipers. If you roll your caliper out, you should notice a little pin sticks out of the bottom, and that's your height measuring tool. So I'm just taking this quick measurement, and it's something super small, 0.7 millimeters. Okay, so 0.7. That looks a little bit big. I'll probably say 0.5. All right, let's just go with that. There we go. And there's our little triangle at the top. Okay, so this video is a little bit longer, but we cover quite a few different things. So pay attention, give it a try. Notice how we're using the mirror tool. Notice how we're using the procedure of creating sketches on surfaces and not planes. All of these things are just quick little tips in order to get you going and create a nice efficient workflow. Thank you guys so much for watching these videos. I hope everything's going according to plan on your side. If you're having trouble with your orientation, which I am definitely doing, don't forget that you can hide your top view, and that will bring you back into play very easily and eliminate those orientation issues. Just right click on the sketch in the tree and hide and show it at will. Okay, all right guys, thanks a lot for watching. I'm just going to quickly save my work and shut this 19-minute video down. Thank you so much for watching. Bye bye.